Hi, everyone. This is Frances Queller. I'm so excited. Sebastian is the youngest co-host for a Zoom webinar in the history of the company. So I want you to know that we've been running Queller now for almost 20 years. We've had, oh my goodness, over 1,000 Zooms, easily 1,200 Zooms at this point. I just want to say thank you so much, Sebastian, for doing this. Thank you for volunteering to do this. I would definitely be violating labor laws if I put you on payroll right now. So I just want to say thank you for doing this. Thank you for volunteering to do this. Thank you to your mother for allowing me to do this. And thank you for supporting all those zany ideas that we have at Queller Prep. Kidding aside, I want to sincerely just let you know how much appreciation we have for you right now, because you don't have to do this. You know, you don't have to share your wisdom. You're on vacation now. You really don't have to do this, but you're choosing to because you want to give back to the kids. It really means a lot what you're doing. Thank you so much. Without further ado, Sebastian, please tell us about yourself. Tell us about your journey. Parents, don't be shy. This is not rehearsed. There's nothing here that's been rehearsed. So just use this opportunity. Sebastian, start your journey. Parents, students, type into the chat any questions that you have. And we're going to take it from here. Without further ado, go ahead, Sebastian. Tell us about yourself. Okay, go ahead.
I attended school at Our Lady Queen of Martyrs Catholic Academy in Forest Hills. I decided to take the Hunter exam in about a year ago in 5th grade. So I decided to take the summer Queller Hunter prep course over the entire summer. It's a 7-week course, and it's divided into ELA, math, and reading. We were supposed to have the Hunter exam in January, around maybe January 17th, but because of the coronavirus, it was delayed all the way to July 30. June 31st. So that's a little bit about myself. I like history. My favorite subjects are math and social studies. I've graduated 6th grade. I'm going on to 7th grade at Hunter College High School in Manhattan.
So can you kind of like backtrack like before you prepared for the Hunter exam? Because this is a journey. So can you kind of like, what led you to like even want to take the Hunter test? And also you went to Catholic school. Like, did they advertise Hunter? Did they encourage Hunter? I'm going to start with questions, but parents, I really want you to ask questions in the chat. Okay, so please ask questions. Go ahead, Sebastian.
For me, my school doesn't necessarily advertise Hunter College High School. I am one of the 2 students in the history of the school to get in to Hunter College High School. Another student got in 2 years ago from my school. So, I was interested in like some future schools, and my mom took me to Queller Prep with Mo Khan, and he was having a somewhat like similar to this webinar, but rather than being online, it was in person. And he talked about his experience about Queller and the Hunter exam. My friend who also got in she's like 2 years older than me. She also used Quellers, so that really like got me interested in like thinking about it.
Hey, 2 for 2. Okay.
Yeah. So we learned about Hunter from her, and about how Queller was from her, so we were interested in maybe checking it out, and the course turned out awesome, and it really helped me getting into the school. Mo also attended Hunter College High School, so it's like always it's better having a graduate to help you get into a school.
Do you see the chat box? Can you read the questions? And this way the parents and students, you can respond to those.
There's 2 questions right now. So my school, so I'm going to answer this question. Did you do any other prep besides the 1 7-week summer course, and did your Catholic school do New York prep? We didn't prep for anything other than the New York State test and the Terra Novas overall. So we didn't really study for the Hunter exam or any advanced schooling. That wasn't really a priority. Queller really helped me in getting in. The math for Queller is really like demanding, but like it's the way it works is like you have one of the main things on the Hunter exam is geometry, but you also have algebra up to a reasonable level and obviously other types of math problems. Like you'll have some somewhat easier math problems like simple computations just to like at the beginning on the Hunter exam. And then it'll go into some word problems like trickier ones, though the first two questions will be obviously like computation, like 9.991 plus 2.768, or very long addition or multiplication questions. Did you do Zoom or in person, and how did it feel to do 4 hours straight of class time? So it was a lot of work to do the 4 hours, but I really wanted to do it. So I was really motivated and it worked out fine. I did classes in the morning because I felt that I would be more awake for that. And I did classes Zoom, but I did the tests in person when I could because it was easier to have a better experience that way. How many times did you take the Queller Hunter prep classes? I did the summer and fall course. I did prepare independently at home. The Queller book really helped me, along with some private tutoring from a tutor called Gabby. My teachers were Mo, Dasha, and Nina. It was really amazing for everyone at Queller. No matter who they are, they do an amazing job. Was there homework, and how long did it take you to do? It was obviously a little bit of homework. It's like not an extreme amount, but you have to do a little bit to continue learning about what you covered in class. In class, you'll like study the homework and maybe learn a few things here and there, like of the topics, but it's like a curriculum. So you have like standard homework. I mean, for parents helping you with Queller homework, my mom didn't help me for the Queller homework, but it's really like the Queller is really meant for parents not to be too involved because it's the children need to learn it, and on the exam they won't have their parents there. You learned the math at KP only during the summer. Yes, I used Queller prep only during all my courses because all I used was just the practice test books and the Hunter College entrance exam book, which was really awesome. It had a lot of passages and math questions, so that really helped me. I reached out to tutors if I had any questions, so the tutors were always there and they always were ready there to answer you. Which subject was I performing the worst in? I mean, you really can't perform horribly in one subject because it's just balanced on all sides. They're not going to give you extremely hard math or really like better reading. It's more on like your preference. I managed to succeed in subjects. Basically, the Queller book, it covers all the material. So if you take it like as a curriculum, like going page by page, you should be able to learn all the material. I took 2 Queller courses, the fall and the summer, but I took it in the order summer and fall. This is a question I like. Compared to the Queller prep practice test, how was it different from the actual Hunter test, and how would you describe your environment? The Hunter test room was with a few other students, and it's like usually in small groups because of the coronavirus. But the Hunter test, it's obviously Queller strives to be a little harder and higher achieving than the Hunter exam to help you understand it better. Because if you know more, it would not hurt, but if you know less, it does hurt. So that if the fact that the Queller preps are more challenging and more demanding, it really will help you on the exam. The essay section was pretty good. It had an essay personal narrative question. So that's one of the main things about Hunter is basically learning to write about yourself. It's like a 4 or 5 paragraph essay and you need to write about yourself. And It's like personal narrative. No, I did not use any other Queller prep books, but the books that really helped me from Queller were the Queller Prep Hunter College high school entrance exam books and the Hunter 10 practice test book, along with the other Queller prep material from the summer and fall courses. The Queller prep tutors really helped me, and I did a few extra classes from Queller. I feel that one of the things about essays is like, if you have a tutor there, it might be better just like a few times to get used to the material, because it's good to have someone analyzing it firsthand. About the essay on the Hunter exam, I had to write about myself. I wrote about some of my interests and what I liked to do in my time. Oh, this is good. How did you rest and relax leading to the exam? On the exam day, it's very important to have a good night's sleep and have a very good breakfast. The exam like starts at like 8:15 or 8:30. So you'll be there at 8 o'clock. So it's very important to be like prepared and have a clear mindset when you're taking the exam. I did a lot of essay practice. I wrote like somewhere around like 30 to 40 essays overall, because every essay you write is on a different topic and it'll help you analyze it, because there's different types of questions. There's like things and people and about yourself. Vocabulary is very important to the Hunter exam, but they no longer have a vocabulary section. However, it is on the Hunter essay, you need to have a lot of vocabulary, preferably like 3 or 4, no, well, more like 2 or 3 major vocabulary words for every paragraph or body paragraph. Also, for the passages in the reading, they will ask you for vocabulary words and the definitions according to the text. Like if I said a word and it usually has a double meaning or a triple meaning, and they'll usually ask you for a meaning that's not direct. So if you did not read the passage, then you would say like the most obvious meaning, but then you would be wrong because they would choose something more obscure. The separate writing classes really helped me because my tutors were really awesome. My main tutor was Gabby for the writing, but everyone was really, really great. And for completing the essay in limited time, you have to practice, because when you do the homework every week, you'll have to write an essay or 2, or maybe even 3 if you want to, but it's always like just 1 minimum. And you have to learn to write it in an hour, with like 5 minutes for reviewing it, 45 minutes for the actual writing, and about 10 minutes for outlining, and 5 minutes for anything else that you need to do during the essay writing. Issues with time management mainly accounts. You're going to have 3 types of question sections on the exam. They will be ELA, math, and essays. So the essay section you'll have 1 hour to do, but you get to choose how much time you have for the exam. Like it'll be 3 hours, but then you can choose how to divide it. There will be 3 sections: reading, math, and ELA again. No, reading, math, and writing. The course, I mean, you can manage the school and the Queller course, but you have to have a little bit of time management skills, which will actually help you for the exam and maybe even at Queller itself, because you're going to be having to try to organize your schedule with extracurricular activities, your homework, and Queller work. But you can do it because it's not going to be too much. After the Queller course ends, I really just continued like practicing. There is a 10 practice test book with 10 full practice tests. And that really helped. School classes at OLQMCA were nowhere near the demandingness of the Hunter test. The Hunter test really just mandates that you have a much higher advanced level of understanding of math, reading, and writing. It's not like just an ordinary school. The tutors were extra from the 4-hour class. I do recommend test preparation. If you really want to get in, you have to read a lot of books. One of the things I found really important and really critical to me getting in was the fact that I read some really older books that actually prepared me for the exam. Many of the Hunter test like passages are actually based on these like older passages from like the 1950s and 1960s. Though it might seem like older literature, it really helps to learn it because you'll both learn vocabulary words and how to analyze like reading passages and answer questions about it. Test preparation on a scale of 1 to 10, it's literally like 10 out of 10. You might be able to get in without preparation, but that really is almost impossible. I don't think anyone has ever done it without at least trying to do something to prepare. I really know that the Queller prep really helped me get in. I think that the tutoring courses, along with the main portion of the courses, helped me because I was able to learn a higher level of the reading, math, and writing. Because when you take the exam, you'll actually underestimate the difficulty of it. But once you prepare for it, it'll come out better and more satisfactory than if you had not practiced at all. Because there's really no chance you'll get in if you don't do that. My mom can give some advice. Mom, do you want to give any advice?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Oh, okay. So
Yay. Hello,
Hi.
super mom. Everybody give her a round of applause. Yay.
thank you so
Okay.
much.
Clap, clap, clap.
In terms of advice, I would say I'm really happy that I was able to give Sebastian the support to prepare for the Hunter College exam through the Quella Prep program, because I wouldn't have known. Sorry, the dog. Puppy issue. Sorry. I wouldn't have known how to help my son prepare for the exam. This is not something that I do. I think it's important to also, have them keep perspective that, they're going to be going into this prep program. They learn as much as they can. They get great support from what I really enjoyed was having Hunter College high school graduates also being the tutors. And I think Sebastian found that helpful, and he found sort of this environment where they just want them not just to prep for the Quella program, but for the Hunter College, high school exam. But I think overall it just helps them want to learn more, and it's a great environment. I just found that, and I found that to be the case. And I was told Francis that I just found this to be such an encouraging environment in terms of education. I saw it as people who are striving to try to do their best, and if on that day the best is that they can get through the exam and do well and get accepted, that's great. But to have always perspective for your children, I was told Sebastian, try your best, and hopefully it'll work out. And if it doesn't, we learned so much. And he said that to me. It's like, I learned so much, and we'll see what happens. So that's very important, is to not put that pressure on our children. All right, sorry. Thank you.
If I could really fast, I want to take a minute just because I have the mother here. I really want to just compliment you and commend you as a parent. You've raised such an amazing son. And I really, just if it's, since you gave me permission to share your family dynamic, you were just like super mom, your dad, your extended family, you're like everyone. How you do this is mesmerizing. I'm just so honored and impressed that you raised such an incredible son. He's really just well-mannered. He's very respectful. He's very appreciative. He would bring thank you cards. I mean, it was just incredible how kind your child is and how brilliant he is. I also want to take a moment, since you did give me permission, I really just want to share, like, you found resources. You put him in math circle. You put him in, I forgot the name of if you don't mind sharing.
Mathematics.
You put him into these programs. So you really were very proactive. And I have to just commend you just doing this and being a single mom. Like, I mean, I just have to really say, wow. And I think all these parents, you were just like wearing so many hats and you have so many responsibilities and you just built a jewel. And I'm so glad that we're having this webinar right now because you're really showing like a success story. This is a moment of truly a success story. So before we continue, I really just want to say thank you so much because as a mother, like, I mean, I have my own little kids and I'm just so impressed and I'm like wowed by you, like really wowed. All right, Sebastian, thank you so much. Let's keep going through the questions. There are a lot in the chat.
Thank you, Francis. And just one thing in response to that, as they say, it does take a village. You, Ben, the manager, the tutors are amazing. And that's what helps someone like me be able to give Sebastian the support. And we're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, go ahead, Sebastian. Lots of questions. Okay, go.
So, what college? Oh, where do you want to go to college? I want to go to Princeton University. I think that's sort of my where I want to go for college. What do I want to be when I grow up? I do want to be an orthopedic hand surgeon when I grow up. I think I really was interested by that profession in medicine. This year's test, there were 2 writing pieces. The first one was writing about a paragraph on a prompt, and then the next one was 3 paragraphs. For books, I don't know what you mean by that. For the private tutoring for Hunter over non-private, I think it's sort of important to have like a good combination. I wouldn't recommend, I really recommend private tutoring if you can do it, but if you can, it's not going to be bad. The course itself is really amazing. You don't have to do private tutoring if you just can't, but it really will offer a pretty decent advantage because you'll be able to, have someone analyzing your essays like with you and like literally virtually or in person, even like next to you, like on your shoulder and reading your essay, telling you what's wrong and what's right about it, rather than just writing some comments on it, which also does help them. We did for math and essays. I actually got more help for neither. The way it works is like the Queller is like there's one math day for one reading day and one essay day. So it's basically an equal amount of time. There's 4 hours of math, 4 hours of reading, and 4 hours of essay. So you will have help with essays and math, no matter what. For a book I recommend, I read a classic Drucker's. Classic Dickens. And it's basically a very big volume of poems, stories, and very interesting things that might be on the exam. On the exam, there won't be it'll usually just be 1 poem or 0, but you might have it. So you have to prepare for that. The summer and fall KP courses should be enough. I think it really just matters that after the end of the fall course, you just continue prepping until literally a few weeks before the exam. I know that after a certain point, I sort of stopped preparing too much during the exam, though I still reviewed and just refreshed my memory because after a certain point, there's really not much more you can put in your mind. Like a week before the exam, you really can't cover the entire material. If you didn't do it by then, you're probably not going to be able to do it in a week. You should really read newspapers, obviously newspapers that are objective and not being biased, but it really will help having vocabulary and advanced vocabulary knowledge and knowing how people write, different perspectives, and just how people think. The Queller, my school managed to get us onto the 6th grade level, and I understood the 6th grade. So then the mathematics and the math circle helped me get up to maybe an extra year. But the thing that really helped me get just above and beyond was Queller. I found out that the Hunter College entrance exam book, Hunter College High School entrance exam book, it just it taught the curriculum because it took step by step, and it went from the easier math to the hard math and the harder math, such that you would understand everything, but it would go in a step. So it's like a full curriculum. We weren't sure whether the exam would actually happen. No one knew whether or not the exam would happen, though after like maybe in late May, late May or early June, we were told about the exam. Really, before that, no one knew whether it was going to happen, but I still practiced because I was still hoping, and I decided not to give up hope. The 10 practice exam workbook is actually part of the summer and fall courses. It's just a separate workbook from the main Hunter College High School entrance exam, which offers like a variety of topics. And the thing is, the difference is that the Hunter College entrance exam book teaches more, while the 10 practice test books helps you practice amazingly. Though if you're going to do the 10 practice test books like I did, I took it under test conditions with 3 hours, and I had to have a good breakfast that day. And I was like prepared that way I would do the best I could, and then I could grade myself and see how I did. I started during the summer, I studied 4 hours with the main Queller course. Then for homework, it was like about maybe like 2 hours. But I also had some fun. Like if you're gonna do the Queller course, it's not that you cannot have any fun. It's just you have to manage it and have time management, which actually will help you in Hunter. The 10 practice test book is part of the course. No, I did not use other books or prep books outside of Queller, though. The math programs really also helped me. Yes, the books you got are in addition to the 10 I was referring to. The 10 practice test books is a hardcover book, and it's separate. You will get it at the start of the course. Yes, you will get 7 practice tests or 6 practice tests and a diagnostic for the summer, and 3 from the book. That's a separate book. The 3 practice test books is a little smaller than the 10. Math will be a little bit more advanced. It's going to be obviously a little harder than the standard SHSAT math, though not much easier than the harder SHSAT math. So I had to focus at home and study during the quarantine. So one of the major things was having a clean workspace and organizing myself. So I would put my books on the side, that way I would not have them on the table. And then when we would begin reviewing homework, I would pick up that packet and then put the packet I was using away. So I was able to manage different tasks and still have like a clear workspace in my mind. The math programs are called Math Circle.
It's called, New York Math Circle. You can Google it, New York Math Circle, and it's run at the NYU. I forgot the name of the math building, but Google it, and they have classes in the fall and spring. I think they're brilliant, excellent classes. You do have to take an entrance exam.
Same thing with Math M-Addicts.
And the other one is Math M-Addicts, and it's held at the Spire School, I think it's called, and it's on 59th and 9th Avenue. It's a private school. That's where they usually hold it live, but because of COVID, they did it via Zoom. They have an entrance exam coming up, I believe, on September 11th. They do, I think it's going to be via Zoom. And, there's some regulations. So please Google if you're interested, because that's a very competitive exam to try to get into. But I found it he found it an amazing program. They give you a lot of homework too, but he enjoyed it. So try it.
If you can get it, it really is very helpful, but it's more on logical math and reasoning. So that will help you with your math reasoning skills. Math Circle is 5th grade and above to 8th, and mathematics is 6th grade to 9th. But there are some courses all the way till 12th grade. Test prep is really essential because whatever curriculum you're in, whether you're in a public, a private, or a specialized school right now, it's still not going to be at the level of Hunter yet. And if you just walk into that Hunter exam, you're not going to manage to do it because you need to have that extra knowledge and the ability to practice to get better. It's as people say, you need to practice if you're going to improve. Yes, no, people cannot just walk into the Hunter test. You have to excel to 90% or above on a standardized test. And if you do not take the standardized tests, you have to take a specialized Hunter qualifications test. I mean, if you know all the material, you should get a good night's rest, but you also just like need to have a very good breakfast. And that's really important to the exam. I also recommend going to the bathroom before the exam and eating breakfast early. On the exam, you'll only have 3 hours. And when you go to the bathroom, the time counter will not stop because of you. So I really recommend that you try not to like go to the bathroom, though if you have to, it's all right. It's also very important to know where the bathroom is during the exam and try to make sure you know where it is. That way you don't wander around. I really hope I can stay at Queller Prep through college, maybe even longer. So I really, really think that's a nice idea. Yes, it is a collection of storybooks. It's like Oliver Twist, but it just combines all these stories together. Another book I recommend for young readers is like The Red Fern Grows. Some newspapers are the New York Post, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Atlantic. The Atlantic is really a good magazine. I have a subscription to that. Do you think the Hunter test is not like the SHSAT? The SHSAT is pretty different. You'll have less time, and there really isn't a mandatory essay section. I mean, if you can find an older storybook collection, that is a very good book that you should use. You could also look for some older nonfiction biographical texts. Those could be on the exam, but there's usually just one biographical or one poem, and there will be like 5 or 6 passages. Right now, practice scores, really, there is no standardized practice score. The Hunter curriculum goes by 52 or 50 reading questions and 30 math questions. So there really isn't a standard grading system where each question is worth 1 point or something. It works mainly by a scale where every question is worth the same. There will be no penalty if you do not answer the question. My practice scores were a little lower. For essays at the beginning, I started off with a 5.5. And I started to slowly rise up to like 9 and 9.5 for every essay after that. But it really takes a lot of essays. I got a lot of 7.7s, 7.5, 7.7s, and all that. I mean, just one thing that you should do is when you get an essay like critique or pointers with your essay, you should really rewrite it. Or maybe if you don't want to rewrite the entire thing, just adjust it and fix any comments that the graders told you. And then reread it, you'll actually get a different perspective on what you wrote. Whenever you want to review your work, you should always take a little bit of a break to clear your mind. I think that really helps me in reviewing my essays, like when I'm preparing for Hunter. The books I'm recommending, I'm going to write them in the chat for anyone who wants to read them. I'm writing it right now. Do I stay organized digitally? What do you mean by that?
What I'm trying to do is delve deeper, and I want to like really go into psyche. How did you stay organized? I'm curious to know that. That's really the question. I really want a visual. How do you stay organized?
Oh, I have a calendar. It's not digital because I feel like it might be a little bit of a waste of time to try to go into Google Calendar or something.
So let's pause. Everyone pay attention to this. This is very interesting because I'm really blessed. I'm not kidding. Like I get to work with like genius kids and like I work with really smart people, smart. So everyone I've noticed has this answer. So you do not. Okay. So once again, let me hear. How do you stay organized? Everyone pay attention. Go ahead.
Instead of using Google Calendar or something online. I prefer not to because for me, it doesn't turn out more organized. It actually creates more of chaos. What I have is I have a very big calendar, like about this size on the wall. And every time I have something, I just use like a pencil right here, and then I can just write on it. The calendar is so big that each day is like at least this big. I will usually for Queller, I decided to sort of manage it. After I did all the Queller courses, and when I wasn't sure of whether or not the Hunter exam would still be there, I wasn't like doing too much work every day because I still had school to do. What I did was you sort of have to like see how much time you have. I on average spent no more than like 45 minutes to an hour every day preparing. Though sometimes like I would spend 30 minutes if I had a lot of homework that day. Though on the weekends I would spend obviously a little bit more, like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I mean, it's really the way you organize yourself. You have to say, what time can I make for the exam? And you have to put priority on it. Regardless of whether you're going to have a fun activity or not, if you really want to get in, you have to put priority on the exam. Sort of like you put school and homework more in priority than like a baseball game or going to a vacation. If you need to have a massive project and you need it to be done in the 1 week of vacation time, or you will not pass. That's really important. For me, I do read the newspapers. I use digital sometimes. I have a digital like quick summary of the day that I get in the morning. So like I can read it before school or something, and it's like not more than like a 5-minute read. And then after that, I go to these websites and I find interesting articles that I like and I want to read them. So then I read them. And I prefer to use hard copies. Every month I get a hard copy of The Atlantic, and that has some articles that are not online. So I do read that. And
so everyone pay attention, because I'm going to make you pause just because it's so important. So you will take a hard copy and read the hard. So everyone, just because I'm very big on that, type of learning. And as you know, by being a student in the course, we give hard copies of materials, and we give every student a blue bag with printed copies. There is something about a printed copy. So I just want to make sure. And again, I just want to remind everyone, like, none of this is rehearsed. I'm actually learning as well. I've never asked you these questions before. So I just want to make sure this is how you also go through hard copies of newspapers and periodicals, right?
Yeah. One thing I did for my magazines, if I found any really interesting words, I would sort of just highlight them or just immediately look them up and try to start remembering them. It's like just when you see anything you don't know, you always want to like have some curiosity to learn about it or see what it is. And whenever I found some topic I was interested in, I might want to do research, but I really put a lot of focus on vocabulary. On the Hunter exam, there will be like at least maybe about 1/5 to 1/6 of all questions will be vocabulary for the reading, and that will really help you and boost your scores if you know how to read the text and figure out the meaning based on it. Though it will be harder than standard reading comprehension. It's not going to be, you have to know a little bit about words and maybe how to try to figure it out by process of elimination. SHSAT books are actually not good for preparing for the Hunter exam. As before, the SHSAT is like the ISEE, has much less time. The essay section is really not mandatory, but you could, I think that's for the ISEE, you could take it. I mean, the math is also going to be harder and easier than the Hunter, depending. I think that it's not going to help you that much. Though one thing that I do like is I think SHSAT math word problems might help you, but it's just better to take the Hunter books. They'll fit your specifications better. Some books that I recommend, I'm going to write these in. I have some really good books that I like. These also have some pretty good words and are pretty standard. One thing I found is that something that helped me get used to to older literature. It's one of my favorite books too. It's The False Prince. It is a pretty old book, and you can understand it. It just helps you get used to an older time, which many of the Hunter prompts will be about. It's going to be a little bit more of an older time, rather without like the smartphones and modern technology. For good nonfiction articles, The False Prince is also a series, by the way. But for good nonfiction articles, I just look a lot on the newspapers that I get every day to my doorstep. It's just when you read the paper, I find areas that I like the opinion piece, the editorials, and the science section from the New York Times, which comes every Tuesday. Nonfiction articles, I mean, one thing you should on the exam, there might be the case every so often of a biographical piece, and that will be a little demanding that you analyze it a little bit more. The exam will be a little bit, it'll be like 75%, no, 85% Queller and like 15% Terra Nova standardized tests, because it will have sort of that rhythm where you're having more similar to that, but you also have to time yourself. So it's a little different. The Queller class did help me do better in regular school classes, but I feel like the Queller course is mainly dedicated towards more advanced grades, and my school doesn't really go like a few grades advanced. It's standardized curriculum, and so not really, it didn't help me as much in regular school classes, though I would say that if I had to continue at my school, the Queller class would have helped me do better in 7th, 8th, and 7th and 8th grade. Is there any other question? Is there any more questions?
I think one thing I wanted to say is that by doing Queller, it really demystifies the process, like what the exam is about, and it gives you a community of other students who, like Sebastian in his class, were striving for the same, to learn and to help each other and to do well on this exam. I think as long as you work hard, don't be afraid of the exam. You can do it. And that's how we felt. And again, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with what my mom said. It is true. As long as you put effort and you try your best, you're gonna get the best possible result on the exam. Just prepare, but you have to be diligent and try to organize yourself. Are there any more questions?
I think that we
One other thing I liked about the Hunter College prep course at Queller is that, I don't know if I mentioned it, but a lot of the tutors are actual graduates of Hunter College High School. So they would talk about like their experience and how, what an amazing school it is. And I found that to be very supportive. So I think that that's important. And the other thing that I liked was that the essays were read not just by his regular teacher, but they had other tutors would review it. So you got different points of view. I think that was very important.
For which subject I did better in, I would say that I did very good in all of these, but very well in all of these. But if I had to choose, I did probably a little bit better in math and the essay than ELA. ELA is more rhythmatic than the math. As long as you understand the reading comprehension and how to analyze the text and go back. Oh, that's something very important on the exam. When they ask you a question, you're not going to know the answer. You always have to go back in the text. You always have to outline, prepare, and just outline anything you might think that will be important after. You have to write it down, and then you have to go back. ELA. One thing about ELA, it's not ELA, it's more reading. You have to understand the different types of questions. And if you know like the different types of questions, you can prepare for each one. There will be some vocabulary questions and questions asking what you understand about the text. So that's it. For ELA, it's more practice, and if you really practice hard, you can do it.
Sebastian, did we cover all the questions?
I did. I haven't seen any more questions yet.
Sebastian, you're going to meet your future student. Are you excited? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Everyone, we're going to go off mute. Hello. Wait, we're going to go off mute and we're going to say thank you to Sebastian, and we're going to see a very cute baby. Are you ready, guys? Hold on. Participants is me. So I'm going to go in spotlight. Ready? Okay, everyone. Are you ready? Hello, little baby. Wait, of course, I got a phone call from the office right now. Nope, here we go. Okay, ready? Hello. Hello, little Sebastian, this is your future student. Okay, don't forget. You're not going to charge me, right? Do I get a discount when you work for me? Do I get a discount? No, right? Oh boy. Uh-oh. I got to save up. I got to save up. Okay, good. Ready, guys? Sebastian, thank you so much. Parents, students, let's give Sebastian. I like to do something really cute to conclude the meeting. Everyone go off mute and just say thank you. Just say thank you to Sebastian. Okay, so let's go off mute. Let's say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Oh my God. Congratulations. Wait, ready? We're going to count to 3 and we're all going to say congratulations. Are you ready? Sebastian, 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sebastian, we're so proud of you. Okay, I'm really, really good. Diana, congratulations. Sebastian's mother. This is a colossal accomplishment. Come closer. We want to see you. Don't hide. Don't hide. We are very proud of you as a parent. It is amazing and it is an honor. I'm learning. The next generation's learning. Are you excited? Oh my gosh, I think he started grumbling when I said he's gonna have a tutor. You are gonna have to bet you're gonna have a tutor. You ready? Are you ready to have a tutor? Okay.
Hey, Jacob.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm very, very thankful for this wonderful moment, and thank you for sharing your journey. I learned a lot. Parents, I want to remind you that we have the class coming up for Queller, and the 30 of you who are still in the Zoom right now, please remember we're starting the next semester of classes. And also, if you're able to, I want to take a moment to remind you, if you're able to post a review of Queller, of your experiences at Queller, of anything of the webinar, just remember we love our reviews. So please, you can Google, you can Yelp. Just remember that it's something very positive, especially right now, because we don't get to go in person to the schools and we don't get to advertise in the schools. So that's been a huge drawback on our program. We don't get to reach out to kids the way that we were able to. So with that being said, Sebastian, thank you so much. Students, please look at the schedules. Remember, we're registering for the upcoming classes, and and hopefully this was a great experience of learning and wisdom for all of you. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to end the meeting. Okay, everyone, say bye, Sebastian. Bye, Sebastian. Bye, Sebastian. Farewell.
Bye.
Bye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sebastian. Thank you so much. Bye.